Hey guys, back doing our final set of time trials. Just for reference sake, I recorded this at 8 AM in the morning after having very little sleep, so that's why you see me doing all those slides. I was headed towards the level portal and I just figured, hey, you know what, I want to slide around a bit, so I did. Anyway, crash and burn. Thankfully the clock is on the other side of that giant opening lake. It's kind of a double-edged sword because it does mean you don't have to endure that whole ride, but on the other side you still have to take that every time you die in this level, and I died a lot doing this level. This and the next one, people who have been following the thread on Something Awful know full well what has been cut out because I posted it to YouTube. But these first two levels are very, very hard to time trial because they're just very hard levels in the first place. That jump there, crash and burn, because it's got a lot of focus on those moving platforms in the early part of the level, so it's an area where the tornado spin and the glide it gives you can really start to earn its money. Because you don't have to wait for the platforms to move around. You can just double jump and glide over. It is dangerous though, because if you do land in the lava, you have to stand around waiting for the tornado spin to finish before it'll actually let you move on. And there is a reason I didn't grab that mask there. You notice I got two masks, and if I grabbed that third mask, it would have given me invincibility, which meant I would have gone straight through that jumping box, which wouldn't have allowed me to get those 4 seconds that were above it. So picking and choosing your masks is important when you're going for the bigger relics. So yeah, that 1 minute 20 you see there, that is a sapphire time. So there is only 6 seconds between a sapphire time and a platinum time, and that should give you some idea as to the kind of margin you're dealing with on that level. The slightest mistake can drop you two entire relic ranks. So yes, on to Gold Rush. I hate this level. I covered that, I think, more than enough in the original video when we did this for the first time. It is a very, very, very long level. I think it has the highest Sapphire Relic time of any other level in the game. And this run that you're seeing here, this was 30 minutes. I was stuck on this level for 30 minutes, not missing times, not having to improve times. Although I did have to do that once. I was stuck on this level for half an hour because I just couldn't get through it. And a lot of that was down to these hang nets. I mean, I showed off some of the perils and the pitfalls that there are related to these in the regular video. But it just becomes so much more protracted when you're in time trial mode and you're having to rush. This section, however, much more enjoyable. It just mash X. It is straight button mashing. There are no time stop boxes you need to kick your legs up for, so you can just grab the controller and just start hammering away, which makes it a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it's only like a 15-second segment, and then it's right back to the hang nets. Precision spinning is important on the hang nets because if you do it right, you can spin away an enemy as you go up to grab the net. Which is very important for saving those crucial few seconds. The other thing you might notice is this level has masks everywhere. Like, we just picked up 2 masks in very quick succession and lost one pretty much immediately. Those wireframe boxes you saw just there, as usual in a relic level. No point in going over to grab those. They just it's just a bunch of plain blocks and some nitros. So on to the final part of the level. The gold relic time, which I was aiming for, is 1 minute 45. So as I came into this section, I was oftentimes just getting very paranoid. Very aware of what the time was, very aware of the fact that I was running out of it. So there were risks taken in this last section of the level which probably didn't need to be taken, but I didn't want to get to the exit, not meet the gold time, and have to go back and do it all over again. You see me pausing there on the high score screen. Once I hit the exit, I just fell back and just breathed for a while. I was so grateful to finally be done with that. Thankfully, this level is a barrel of fun. It is an atlasphere level, which I love anyway. I think I've said some bad things about them, but I do love them. They are a lot of fun, and they are this one is even more fun to do at speed because it is well designed for the speed. There's a 2-box there, there's a 3-box over there. They are well worth your time going to get. There's a bunch of ones in that little pile there. This section as well, look. It's fine racing lines. It is properly anticipating, so there is some memorization involved, just to have a perfect path down. I think a big part of getting the higher times and the higher class relics is knowing that you can roll across the top of those. Generally, when you get to that point, 13-15 seconds is a good time, because there's so many time stop boxes in the early part of the level. And this section as well, just screw the platforms, blast down to the bottom. Very careful around those nitros. And unlike the platform that moves like this in Bamboozled, you need to get that, because there is 12 seconds on that. And there's 12 seconds on that little platform up there. This was the only run I found. This was the only run I found those on. So you've got the clock stopped for 12 seconds, and there is about another 10 seconds there. With 3 more seconds there, that clock is not moving again for a long time. So you can afford to be a little bit more cautious on this maze section. I mentioned when we did this for the first time that it's important to note the apples will the apples will lead you to the final exit. What I forgot when saying that was that, of course, in a relic level, there are no apples. So you are purely reliant on what you can remember from doing the level the first time. But the first platinum relic from an atlasphere level, which is something I'm very proud of. I think deservedly so. I think that's a very good time. Now, bit of a dick move there from the game, because the game has kind of taught you throughout this whole game. You can break boxes that appear before the clock. Like, boxes that appear before the clock will not become time stops. And this is the level where that rule is accepted, because those boxes at the start of the level turn into a pair of 3 seconds, and those 6 seconds are very important. That section you can pretty much dash straight through as soon as the platforms go back down. Same for this. I like the platforms. Well, I wouldn't say I like the platforms, but the fact that they all kind of stagger their drops makes them much better to deal with. Just because you're not going to get caught out by a constant stream of runs. They're timed well enough that if you can jump on one, you can jump on all of them. Nothing much to say about that. It's a chase sequence. There's nothing really to do except react to the boxes. Another little bit of uniqueness. Getting invincibility. Getting invincibility in a chase sequence. I don't actually know, and I wasn't willing to take the time to find out whether it will actually protect you from whatever's chasing you, and you can just leave that behind. Considered going back for that 3 box, but decided, yeah, no. As a general rule with time stops, if it's anything but a 1 second box, you want to go back and grab it, because you will save more time. The cardinal rule is, will it take me longer to get it than it will stop the clock for? If you will be further along from where you were when you turned back, when the clock starts again, it's worth grabbing. But the dark section, once you've cleared the chase, really not that long, and provided you're following the usual rule of always moving forwards, that's a pretty easy platinum to grab. And finally, the Vortex. This level again, like, I think all the levels in this area, except for Gold Rush, are a lot of fun to speedrun, because a lot of them are of the really challenging, precise platforming variety. And this level's hard to speedrun, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's easy by any stretch of the imagination. But you never feel cheated by this level. The only real instance would be the second set of those red platforms, because they are always up by the lightning when you... They're always up by the electricity when you first arrive at them. Whoops. Must have forgotten to cut that out. But yeah, that's the thing to remember about those laser beams as they go up and down, is that until they're pretty much up about 80% of the way, it is a solid invisible wall under them, so you can't run under them. And that is one of the major failings of this level, just in general. In fact, you have to be wary of when you can... You have to be wary of when you can jump, when you have to jump, and when you can actually just run under them. Because jumping when you have the speed shoes, not as quick as running. Those guys that throw the vials, like I was pretty sure I'd actually gotten hit by that guy's vial, so the fact that I didn't really makes me wonder about what the hell their hitbox actually is. Like, does it only count when they're up in the air? Does it only count at the exact point it hits? Like, because they look like they have some splash damage to them, but it didn't affect me at all. So I'm using invincibility frames to get over that. That's a nice little section there. Just, you've got a big stack of TNTs, so you might as well just tap the corner as you go round it. So Noda's been earning his money once again, and that is 38 seconds under the Sapphire time. Or closer to 37. And it's just a gold relic. So, yeah, think about that. Another 5 seconds for the platinum. But, finally, the secret warp room. We will be dealing with that next time. And I'll see you then. Bye bye.